Listo. So, hello, Miss Gracia and classmates. Today we are going to talk about a new that we read and made a project about to try to stop this problem. So, the new name was Island that separate education hubs from have-nots. And well, my name is Julio Pérez.
My name is Maria Belén Torres.
My name is Jami.
My name is Omar Méndez.
My name is Evert Varela and I'm from Ecuador.
So, as the news said, there are many places, areas, or school districts in the United States that, according to a new report from a nonprofit called EdBuild, are surrounded by another school district, which has a higher percentage of poverty rate. So in this report, EdBuild maps 180 of these islands around the country. And we call islands to these school districts because are totally surrounded by another school districts where the reality is different. And well, these districts, which are surrounded, lie completely inside other systems with a disparate poverty rate and often different funding levels because of historical accidents or for political reasons. So this problem is related to the students' performance because surrounded communities are able to provide better education than the island communities. And in the United States, on average, around the half of the school funding comes from local property taxes, and that means that in districts with high poverty are commonly trying to get out of this situation with limited resources, and sometimes the schools available sources of money could depend on of the of the postal code of the school or of the students or even of the birth address of each student. And well, historically, these school districts were determined by a series of laws to allow towns to incorporate cities, and then these were separated from surrounding townships with another governments, separate tax bases, and also separate school districts. And, but at this time, these areas where townships tended to be agricultural and cities were more prosperous. But today, these small cities and small districts has many country buildings which don't pay taxes, and also with the more existing density compared with the surrounding townships. Also, the schools are affected by the United States immigration, what increases the quantity of children going to school with a high existing density, with, which does not pay property taxes because they live in country buildings and they don't pay the property taxes.
So now to talk about this worldwide problematic, today we are going to use the United States education situation. So one case of islands that separate education have from have-nots is the school district of Freehold Borough, New Jersey. It has a 32% poverty rate. It is fully surrounded by another school district, Freehold Township, which has a 5% poverty rate. So after a study from a non-profit organization, the results included 180 cases of this kind of violence in this area. So there are some little places where education is really bad and inefficient. But around this place, there are other schools that are completely the opposite side of the coin. These schools have an excellent education, but which is the reason for this kind of unstable education? Well, around half of the school funding in the U.S. on average comes from local property taxes. That means that districts with high poverty often struggle with limited resources, and while areas that have to pay high taxes are the ones which also has good levels of education. So obviously we can notice a disarrangement in the way that the state is financing the scholarship projects. This is just an example that serves as a pattern to project the real situation of the country. Currently, Freehold is a small urban district that has many county buildings which don't pay taxes and more existing density compared with the surrounding township, which makes it harder to build more housing to generate property taxes.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about some of the causes of this problem. First of all, here we have about about distribution of the money in this country because all the taxes, the only the taxes of each state is investing in the same place. I I'm referring to this. If if one state recollects, for example, $1,000, not all the money is destinated to education. A half percent is going to infrastructure of the state, and another percent is going to, for example, health, and this applies to all of the states in United States. Another problem is that in here is a lot of students. Here are a lot of students that don't have a good schools because there's no infrastructure of the schools, and also the education in these states are very poor. And another thing that is that money investment in each state uh, is not is not in a good way because the government of the United States should invest money in equally in every state, not only in a few states because education is for everybody. Another problem that we saw in this in this new is that a lot of people is building houses, a lot of buildings, and is having a lot of business, and these people is not paying taxes, and they're causing not a lot of social money to to invest in education and in infrastructure and transport for students in these states. Another problem that we saw here is the immigration. Immigration is sorry. Immigration is a big problem because a lot of amount of people is incoming to the state, and these people uh, have don't have the good resources to pay a good school or a good university, and by that reason they stay also in a poor state, like is this case, and this uh, cause a problem in education and in everything. If education is bad, everything will be bad in this side. In this place won't have a good developing. Now, my friend Omar is going to tell you about some possible uh, solutions to this problem.
Well, I want to talk about
how to face the main problem that we have here. We have the problem of the poverty, the problem of the bad education of the islands, and the problem of the distribution of goods. So we should face the problem from the root. We have to tell the authorities, maybe, to use all the resources that we have in all the state and use them equally, not just use the resources for an area. Use them whole as it was equally, like a community. They all give their taxes and they all receive their good education. Also, for the project that we are planning, we should get some people that are disposed to help and people that can be volunteer in the education and also in the construction of buildings for education like schools, and it can be in many other things because these are agricultural places. Most of that places that have a lot of space available, so they can construct many buildings like schools. So if we get people that are just are recently teachers that have just graduated, they can go and volunteer in that schools. And they can give the education in a low price, for example, and they can get also they can get more experience by giving classes and helping the school. Oh, another thing that we can do to help this problem is to make use of the companies that are in the area, because companies can lower their taxes if they have if they do community help. So if we get companies that can help the communities, this will be great because they will lessen their taxes and they will also make publicity. This can be sort of a problem because some of the information they give can be from aside, but if they just help by making the buildings and giving money to the community so they can have better education, they also get the publicity that is made there, and we can use I say agricultural companies that can help and also um, make stores there, so we can get money. Also with the help of the volunteers, of course, to give the education.
As a conclusion, I'm going to say that all countries have this type of problems where persons their education is low, and in some cases they will have some failures in university because of they don't receive a good education in their schools or in their high schools. Also, this problem is not only on private schools, it's in general in private and in public schools. In these situations, as we know, the government has to act. Uh, some countries like Ecuador have some of these problems. Uh, there are exams that you can take, but it's obligatory to take exams that can evaluate the type of education that students are learning and the type of education that teachers are teach for the students. Uh, and the objective of these evaluations is to increase the educations for persons who wants a better life. Um, Also, as a person, we can say that uh, to solve these problems, Nowadays we have some decreasing in the knowledge of the persons. That's why there are a lot of persons that don't have or don't found jobs, and others that don't find jobs that they like. And this increases the percent of poor people. And as we know, if we know a lot of information, or we have a big knowledge, we will have more open doors for a success future, and educations become an important part of us because we can evade persons who will cheat us with false ideas or to get us out of ignorance. Thanks.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you.
Thanks for
Love
watching.
you.
So.